So, coffee again, which means Sunday, and this week, why do you have problems cutting straight or even cutting with a handsaw?
One sip won't do, I take one sip won't do from the magic brew.
So the saw is kind of like the hammer. It's the one finger movement that's gonna make your life so much easier. And once again, the saw, people usually grab it like this, like a baseball bat, which means you're gonna start rolling your wrist as soon as you're putting yourself in trouble when it's starting to snake, or when it's starting to grab onto the wood. If you have not dry enough wood, if say that you have moisture in your wood and it's starting to close together or whatnot, and it's starting to grip on the spine on the saw, that's when you're gonna start rolling your wrist. And then you're gonna get tight, of course, in the wrist and the rest of your body, using the rest of your arm on the side that you're using the saw. And the simplest thing to do this is just to raise your index finger on the spine of the saw, which means once again you have more of a straight line, which means you already know where if the saw is tilting like this, like with a hammer, if it's rolling. But in this case, you're having the index finger indexing the saw instead of the thumb that we have on the saw, on the hammer. And that's the quickest way to just make sure that you're starting to cut straight. The other thing I like to say is how to start. Which angle do you actually cut from when you start sawing? First of all, when you start a cut, I always do this. Small movements, just to get the saw buried a bit into the wood itself, to get more support on the spine. The higher up the support, of course, the easier it is to have it straight. But already having the finger there, gonna give your cut a straighter cut from the start, promise you. And as I said, you start it a bit slower to get the back into the shorter strides, to get the back and spine into the wood a bit, so it's holding up. But where to start actually? And the most easiest way to identify where to start and what angle to start sawing. Almost every saw would have this here, 45-degree angle, or a 90-degree angle there. And the 45-degree mark is, of course, to quick and dirty to take out measurements, or a 90-degree or a 45-degree on a board already. But this 45, it's also an excellent way to find where to start. If this is straight, the 45 is 90 degrees with the wood you're trying to cut, and if you just raise it up just a little, that's your starting point. That's exactly where you want to go. And then having that, your attack angle is going to be more downforce, because when you're pulling up, you're just pulling up. You're not supposed to, you don't have to push the saw down when you're pulling up. Most of the cutting happens in the down stride, but also in the up, but you don't have to push your saw down. The up stride is for you to rest, and the down for you. Don't push like it's your life depending on it, but a good push on the down and rest a bit more on the up, which gonna keep your saw game just going for a longer time. And that's basically those two things are the most fundamental ways that you should start using the saw. But also what's happening if you take this 45 degrees in practice, where to start from with raising it a bit, you automatically gonna find how far away from the material you're gonna be. Make sense? If you're too close, you can't the angle is gonna be like that, and if you're too far away, your angle is gonna be more flat. So once again, if you find that 45-degree flat against the material you're gonna cut, and then just raise it a bit, you're automatically gonna find yourself the optimal distance from the cutting material. And that's it. Those are the 3 things that's gonna make your hand saw game 100% better. I'm sure of it. And once again, also, I would also like to say that there's no need to have a super long saw. The longer the saw, the more experience you need to have. The shorter the saw, it's easier to maneuver. But also, a saw like this is a general purpose saw, which means it's both cutting and splitting. Because there's a difference. A split saw would have a different set of teeth and different angles of left and right bend, so to speak. And that could also be a purpose, or be one of the cause of your problems why you can't cut wood, because you have a split saw. Not very likely, but it could be if you had an old saw laying around that you haven't really paid attention to, and it turns out to be a split saw. And an easy way to just check this is just do a cut and a split cut, and see where you think it makes most easy work. And it's gonna be showing pretty much if it's a cut saw or a split saw. It's fairly easy to see the difference by doing it just. And yeah, I think that's it. We're gonna try to keep it short. I need to try to boil them down to around 8 minutes, hopefully, no longer than that. The videos, that is. But I think that's covered it. So once again, in my opinion, to get the best, start your out with fundamentals. Move your index up on the spine. Works left or right, really does matter. Take the 45 as your guidance of when you're starting to cut from the attack angle. And also try to find a saw that might be a bit shorter. Very simple, because this is 10 centimeters shorter. This one is comparison to this. And this one is just much easier to saw with. Even me that has fairly good experience. I use this sometimes when I have a lot to saw, but I prefer the wood to be super dry. Just because it's a bit longer and it starts to snake. And the longer it is, it's just slightly thinner and it's starting to get warm and snake and clinch in the wood. So once again, just a bit shorter, put the index up, and work more with the shoulder, triceps than just the elbow. As the hammer, work with these big muscle groups. That's it. Let me know if it helps. So, Sunday again, coffee, and I need to figure out what I'm gonna say as well. So, Sunday again, which means coffee, and of course, maybe not of course. So, cafe. So, Sunday again, coffee, and so, coffee again, which means coffee again, which means Sunday. So, welcome to another Sunday. So, Sunday again, which means coffee, and let's have a look at the humble Hanzo. And let's do. So, Sunday again, Sunday. So, Sunday again, coffee. And why do you have problems cutting with a humble handsaw? There's gotta be something in there to use, no? There has to be something in there. 12 minutes of that.
Got a little homestead where the chickens roam free. Dogs are chasing tails as happy as can be. I got a little homestead where the chickens roam